Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur, and welcome back to this Let's Play of Mortal Online, the Second Era. Today you're watching episode 77, and so today I'm with Tybers again, and what I thought I might do is, I want to find a shortcut back to Tindrem, because I have looked at the Mortal Online map, and it seems that there is a way around the mountains that will allow me to sort of get back to the way I came before I entered the cave. And so what I want to do is I want to try and find that pass around the mountains and then try to get back to Tindrem using a shorter way rather than sort of like backtracking my way, the way I came, which is going to be a lot longer. And so you could consider this to be, you know, exploring uncharted territory for me. But yeah, I need to get Tybers back to Tindrem. I will be using him to do a number of the new player guide. We'll be dealing with combat and crafting. So thank you to that to the viewer who suggested that I could do another episode on crafting for the new player guide. And so once I get back to Tindrem, I'll get to work on that. Whoa. Mountain spider, didn't see that. So there's a gate. Now I'm not sure if that is the way, that is the pass. I didn't see that mountain spider until it was like really close. I don't think I can access this. Oh, so I can. Nice. So I think if I go through here, then it should lead me back to my way to Tindrem, hopefully. Or it could just get me lost. Who knows? And as usual, we'll take our precautions. We'll make sure that we're not unnecessarily making ourselves too visible. So everything looks okay so far. Now one thing I do have to say about the bushes is that when you go through the bushes, the bush will move. So if you're traveling and you decide to hide in the bush, just be aware that when you go through the bush, it will sway. So if there is a player killer nearby, then they can see that the bush is moving, and they will know that someone is going through the bush and probably hiding there. So I think SV designed the bushes with that in mind. So I think these bushes, they put it there to make it possible for players to conceal themselves, but also at the same time, if they're not careful, it will also give them away. And I do see a lot of these circles, these are halos in the sky. One of the viewers was pointing that out. So apparently, yeah, from what I've heard from a friend, it has something to do with relics that you get. When you get a relic and you put it in your guild keep, you'll get this halo above the keep. So probably some sort of resource gathering thing. I'm not too sure. Okay, tool dogs. I've got to avoid them. They're aggressive. Hopefully I'm not being followed by them. Actually, maybe let's just oh, look at this. Okay, crafting station weapon. Okay. So obviously that was another player. Oh. Phew. Let's just make a quick run for it. I don't know whether that guy's gonna come back and kill me. So let's just make a quick run for it. So you came through here. Let's find a place to. So you never know when you're traveling. You never know who you're going to come across, and there is always that danger. As soon as you step out of the protection of the town guards, you're on your own, and if there's any danger, then well, you have to. That's something you have to deal with. But that's also the thing that gives this game the fun. So you never know what's going to be out there when you go out. And same thing when you're sleeping as well. Your screen blacks out to simulate that when you sleep you cannot see anything. So this is also a time when people can jump you, attack you and kill you. So if you're out and about with a friend, it's a good idea to have one person standing guard, so that if anyone comes along and has intentions to harm your group, then you can warn everyone, as in real life. Okay, I better take a shorter way around that. I don't want to fall too far to the ground. We'll just do more damage. Okay, so I think that's going to do me damage again. Got to try and find a way to go down to the mountains without and zigzagging. In my experience, it is probably one of the ways that you can avoid falling straight down and getting damaged, as in getting hurt. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't, but from what I've experienced so far, it does seem to work when you zigzag down, like a downhill. Okay, so we're on the. So now we just have to head. Okay, I think that's cougars. Yep, cougars. So we just have to head west, and we'll make our way back to Tindrem, and hopefully, hopefully nothing bad will happen. So yes, at night, it is still very dangerous. So for those of you who think that nighttime is safer, it's probably not, and in fact it probably is a lot more dangerous. So also I've just been following up on the development progress for the new continent, and from what I've heard from SV, it does seem like that the new continent will also bring a new feature to this game, which is the weather and climate system. And so basically what that means is that when you go to the desert, you will need to make sure that you wear, if you're wearing armor, then you'll need to wear something that will keep you cool. So you need to avoid things like heavy armor, like plated armor, which will probably overheat you. And that's a feature that's been requested for a long time. I think many years ago people have been suggesting that, but it's never been implemented into the game until recently when SV announced that. Well, I think they sort of hinted that they will put that into the game. So if they do that, then that'd be quite exciting. It's something I've been looking forward to as well, and it will give this game a lot more immersion. And just before I started recording, moments ago, I was looking at the forums, and I saw some new screenshots of the new continent, which is called Saruka. And it does look very nice. The textures are very, very high res. So I'm kind of guessing maybe there will be another graphics overhaul with the new continent. I'm not too sure about that, but from where I'm looking at it, it does seem like the graphics will be overhauled. Okay, just need to see my... Okay, I'm still fit. Yeah, so if it is another graphics overhaul, then I'll be very much looking forward to it, because the screenshots, the graphics look very nice. It's it showcases the desert, and the graphics do look very, very realistic, in my opinion, for a MMORPG. And I'm glad that SV is going for realism or semi-realism for the graphics. It's one of the things that I love about this game is the graphics. It is not a fantasy, stylish, graphics like Arcade. I know that when I was looking at the Arcade graphics, it really does remind me of the very cartoonish, well, not cartoonish, but it just had that kind of like it had that fantasy and cartoonish look to it. So, and it was quite flashy as well. When you're in combat, there's all these flashy effects. So that's another thing that I wasn't too keen on. I much more prefer the kind of like the it's like a more realistic and yeah, more blood and there's gore, and so stuff like that. So I think this game does take a bit of inspiration from Age of Conan, which is a fairly old MMORPG. I think that game came out in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And when it came out, it was very, had a lot of blood and gore. But that game eventually went free to play. So I do like this game for the way it the direction that it is taking. But in future, I hope that SV will add features like when you... Okay, I need to rest. Too busy talking. I hope that in future SV will add the ability to drop items to the ground. So let's say if I've got a two-handed greatsword, then if I put it on the ground, it will appear as a two-handed greatsword and not just as a bag. I think that's one of the things that I feel is missing from this game, because Ultimate Online had that. So if you drop items to the ground, it will be visually represented as such, rather than appearing as a loot bag. Okay, I'm not sure whether I should go that way or just maybe I'll just go this way. Okay, something happening here. Okay, I think that's just the NPC miner. Okay, I do need to watch out for cougars here. There was a time when I was going through, traveling through this area, and a cougar started chasing me. So I made for the waters, but somehow the cougars still continued to attack me, even when I was swimming, you know, out into the water. So I'm quite happy that I found the cave camp and managed to explore a little bit of the cave. Now I'm kind of thinking that that's not all there is to that cave, because it's like a very big cavern. So I'm kind of thinking there might be some other secret passages that I haven't seen yet, and it might lead to somewhere else. So maybe in the future, next time when I've got, you know, like a big group, let's say maybe if I join a guild with Starkanier, I'll probably get Starkanier to join a guild at some stage. But you know, when that happens, then I'll probably, you know, if we go to that cave, then, you know, we might try and explore a little bit more of it. Okay, so this is the river. So, you know, if you follow that path that I took, then it will enable you to get back to Tindrem much quicker than if you were to go around the way I came. Okay, so there are guards here, so if I can just get within you know, range of the guards, then I should be quite okay. But like I said in one of my episodes, the guards here, you know, their function is not so much preventative, but rather punitive. So they can't prevent, you know, player killers from attacking you and trying to kill you, but they can punish them for doing so if they do succeed in you know, killing the aggressor. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, this is one of the most dangerous places in Myland, and that is the narrow pass to Fabernum. Because if you want to get to Fabernum, you have to go through that a very narrow pass, and that's where I think a lot of player killers, they tend to, you know, sort of like roam that area, and whenever a player comes along, they just kill it. They just kill them. So so when I get to a bush, I'll just let me rest. And I'll need to just turn off the fan, because I've got the fan on and it's starting to get a bit cold. Okay, so alright, that's much better. Okay, so we'll get back to Tindrem, and then I'll start getting to work on making the crafting video, as well as the combat. Okay, is that a guard? Okay, if that's a guard, then I can yep, I definitely think that's a guard, but we'll just double check. Okay. Okay, so I'm almost back to Tindrem. There's some more guards here. So, generally speaking, if you're going to travel, I think it's relatively safe to do so. It's not like you'll encounter a player killer the moment you step out, but I think the key is just to be mindful and alert. I think if you just take some general, cautionary steps, and just watch out for things, then I think you'll do relatively okay in the wilderness. Unless you're really unlucky and you happen to bump into a player killer, then yeah, you'll probably die. But generally speaking, in my experience, I've not encountered that many player killers in my travels, I have to say. So if you're feeling a bit afraid to go out because you're scared of getting hunted, getting killed by player killers, then it's probably not as dangerous as you might think. Although there might be times when a lot of player killers will be out and about, but most of the time I think player killers are oh, there's a player, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that, but that looks like a player. And I do not want to yeah. So yeah, there is one more, dangerous area that I have to cross before I can get back into Tindrem, and that is the area outside Tindrem front gates. There's been, I think, there was on 2 occasions I stepped out and there were player killers just sort of riding around that area, and at times that area can effectively be no man's land, because if the guards are not around, if they're patrolling this route, if they're going towards that way, then the majority of the guards will not be around. So there will be maybe 1 or 2 elite guards, but other than that, there's not really going to be that many guards. Oh, another player. Okay. Maybe I should just draw my weapon, just in case. Although, the weapons and the armor that I've got is really not going to do very much. It's probably just going to, do light wounds to the player killer at the most, and it's really just going to scratch, armor plated. Player killers were armor plated and very well armed. At the most, you really just scratch them. That's all. It's really not going to get them to go away. Okay, so alright, we made it. Not quite yet, but almost. Okay, so we're oh, for a moment I thought that was okay, Zuel. He's going that way. I'm not sure if that's what kind of pet that is. I think it's a Morva, but from here it looks a bit like an elephant. Yeah, so probably a Morva with bags, but it does look a little bit like an elephant. So Okay, so we're back home. So wonderful. So in the next few episodes, I will try to bring, I'll continue the new player progression guide, on crafting and also combat, as well as a number of other things. Okay, so nothing in the mail. Good old Tindrem. Quite a number of dogs. Okay, so just put my torch away. And so it should go here. And we'll put the food away. We're not too hungry yet. Okay. Alright, so I think this is where I'll leave it. Okay, 2 people resting. So I think this is where I'll leave it. So thank you for watching this episode, and so if you enjoyed it, please do like, comment, subscribe, and share. So I look forward to seeing you next time. This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur, and take care.